QSH shakes up the meta so dramatically in Rise of Kingdoms, I need to update my legendary investment tier list. This is my most watched series that I think I've ever produced on my channel, possibly the most watched series in the history of Rise of Kingdoms, and it is changing so dramatically based on his power level. And I would know because I just used him fighting against 1960 in the 1960 versus 1093 KVK. I pulled down more kill points than I possibly pulled down on any other KVK on this particular account. But before we dive in, let me tell you about another game that's really shaking things up. Thank you, Dragonheir Silent Gods, for sponsoring today's video. You can use the link in the description to go download the game, and using that link will support my channel. Now, I've covered Dragonheir on the channel in the past, so you may already know that this is a high fantasy role-playing game where you build teams of heroes that battle in squad combat. Dragonheir, however, has launched the first ever card account evaluator, where they literally evaluate your previous Dragonheir account or existing Raid Shadow Legends, Watcher of Realms, or King Arthur Legends Rise account to give you rewards based on the rarity of champions or heroes and gear that you've collected in those games. So players will fall into one of three categories. You're either a veteran returning to Dragonheir, a US-based player participating in the relaunch of the game, or a brand new player. And based on that status and your collection, if you're a veteran or returning US player for the relaunch of the game, you'll get up to 15,000 Wyrmarrow, equivalent to 150 summons, and new players will be eligible for 4,800 Wyrmarrow, equivalent to 48 summons. But we're not done, because once you complete your evaluation, you can participate in a team adventure where, based on your progress in the game, you get even more rewards. Now, be sure to join the right team, because once you lock in with a team, that's it. That's who you're with. But on top of that, using the special link in the description, you can visit a page that will give you an opportunity to earn 250 pre-summons with up to at least 3 guaranteed legendaries. Definitely check this page out, which is going to have all the detailed rules around how these summons work and all the sweet rewards that you can get. I'll be honest with you, in my 7 years of being a content creator, I don't know that I've ever seen such a generous set of player incentives to launch into a game. So be sure to capitalize on all these awesome ways to accelerate a fast start in Dragonheir Silent Gods. You can download on Steam, iOS, or Android, and in the US, the game just re-released as Dragonstride Legacy Reborn. Using my link in the description and pinned comment will support my channel, and definitely do the pre-account appraisal and the pre-summons event. I've also got a ton of guides for Dragonheir Silent Gods. I'll have cards for those in the end screen for this video. Thank you again, Dragonheir, for sponsoring this vid. All right, y'all, get a good look at this list, because this is the last time it's going to look like this. QSH changed things so dramatically, we need to add a whole new tier of power level. The way you think about commanders, the way you invest in commanders has completely changed in a way that is so dramatic. I mean, I haven't changed this list in so long. Let's start to make the changes, shall we? The first thing we need to do is we need to add a new row of power. Okay. The new power level is going to be Meta Breaker. Okay. I don't know maybe it's easiest if we just make this a new color instead of changing all the colors around. We make it purple. Meta Breaker. Okay. This tier of power level is above and beyond anything we've ever had. Obviously, QSH goes in there. Okay. Now, below that, we have to change the designation, because high priority is not actually what we exactly mean anymore, because there are no high priority commanders compared to QSH. I want to break this down a little more clearly and restate. QSH is so powerful, every other commander investment and its value has now changed. It's that big of a deal. Okay. So what we do here is we don't call this high priority anymore. We call this maybe works with future Meta Breaker. Okay. That's the way we think about this. Maybe works with future Meta Breakers. Maybe there's a more concise way of saying that. Okay, pair. That's the word. Pair with future, right? Will this pair with a future Meta Breaker? Yes or no? That's the way I think about what goes here. And in the context of maybe this will pair with a future Meta Breaker, I think that Arthur, we pull to the left, because although Cavalry was my worst performing March, which was such a game changer, I can't believe it. By such a large margin, I should never have left my city with this March. Huo with Arthur. And I already talked about this separate video. It's geared up. Its armaments will make you drool. I mean, okay, maybe they're not all legendary, but like they're really good. Unbelievable. But combo, I'm inclined to believe, has a big future in the game. I think that he could pair with like future meta, and that meta is right around the corner. Okay, it's literally right around the corner. We presumably get cavalry or leadership very, very, very soon. Really hype. I don't know which it's going to be. It's either going to be leadership and siege, or it's going to be cavalry. But Arthur works as an investment if you believe that combo is what we're getting next for Cav in the open field. I feel like obviously we are, right? And that new commander is going to be busted, and Arthur will just be a tag along for whatever that is. With that said, when are we getting infantry again? Not anytime soon, right? So I bumped down the infantry. Even though you'd think they're pretty good, and they are, now investing in this game is all about setting up for what breaks the meta. If the pattern continues, we don't know. We don't know if we're going to keep getting commanders at this power level. It could just be, I mean, either way, the meta has changed forever. Either QSH sits on top of the meta forever, or we now need to rethink the way we invest in commanders. Now, I will say this of Philip. I do think that it is possible he can be paired with some future meta. Like, I think he's versatile enough. I think that he's strong enough, maybe, just maybe, that we get away with this. And the other reason I think he's maybe, oh God, I don't even know if Philip goes here, guys, because like typically we're not pairing leadership commanders together, are we? Like, I know we're maybe about to get an open field leadership commander, maybe, but are we? Gosh, this is such a weird situation. Like, I don't even know if I can put Philip here. I don't even know if I can put Philip here. It's just that this is where we're at right now. Yeah, no, I'm going to bump him back down. I just don't think I can do it, man. I don't think I can do it. Right? Typically, we're not pairing leadership commanders together. In fact, leadership commanders paired together often turns out not great for open field. So I think this is like the strange new meta that we're in. And then from here, gosh, like where are we at with Zhuge Liang? On the one hand, I mean, if you're using multiple archer marches, you're definitely going to need him. I think he's a part of the best thing you can do with QSH is to pair with Zhuge Liang. I also think that Yi-Song is an outstanding choice. One exerts control over the field. The other does damage. Both are valuable. They do different things, right? Debuffs are incredibly powerful in the right context. So do we even bump Zhuge Liang up? I don't know that. I guess we have to, actually, in a way. I don't know. He doesn't really help you prepare for a future meta, but like in terms of March priority, getting a QSH March done is your top priority. And that means you're either doing QSH with Zhuge or you're doing QSH with Yi-Song. And we're going to bump Yi-Song over here. Now, if you're subscribed to the channel, you know the before SOC category means before Season of Conquest, before you get to the end game. And we have to make Yi-Song all the way up at the front of this now, because before we had Mina here, because you want to max him early and you can get value in the end game. But I would say that Yi-Song you get, like, Yi-Song is meta in the end game now because of the skill damage synergy with QSH, whereas Mina is not really meta. Like, yeah, you want to do him early, and doing him early is an easy choice because there's a lot of value you can get there. But at this point, I kind of bump him back a good bit, and I feel like because we're so close to getting new combo commanders, I don't know. I mean, we'll keep him here. Bertrand will stay in this list of, like, these commanders all have a great home when you get to the end game. But that could be changing too, right? The literal only thing that's safe right now is QSH and who you pair with him. Everything else is speculative. Literally everything else is speculation. Okay? From here, we need to take Huo, and he goes all the way down. He's out. See you later, dude. This March did so bad, I honestly can't even believe it. It's shocking to me how poorly cavalry performed. We're going to bump him way down over here. Get out of here, Huo. You're done. It's over. I don't know if it's just because he's single target damage, the nature of his kit, or what it was, but I used Huo with Arthur, and those reports were the most miserable in my entire career of playing Rise of Kingdoms. Even when we weren't lined up against 960 in the KVK and we were fighting 1818. I mean, they are very powerful, but like, nah, it's over. It's over, Huo. You are buried, my guy. Now, that brings us to Ragnar. Now, Ragnar Prime with Skippy Prime was my second best trading March. Bro, I can't figure it out. But double AoE and shielding and instant proc damage, this thing actually cooked as a combination for me. So yeah, I don't know what to do with infantry because like, who knows what the new power level is going to be? Who knows if it's going to be skill damage or smite damage? Who knows if it's going to be both? Like, I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm comfortable investing in Ragnar now because I don't trust we're going to get more skill damage. Maybe he'll work with the new leadership commander. I felt like Philip and Ragnar was an okay combo, but I also felt like I was losing out on really a lot of damage by not being all in on the wedge formation. And this KVK really proved in that way that like, yeah, you can do some wicked open field damage and get some wicked reports with Ragnar with Skippy Prime. I wouldn't start working on Skippy Prime, especially now that we're in this new world. But like, I think we leave him here. And Siege are so funny. I don't know what to do with these. We may get new Siege, new engineering commanders. We just got new commanders that showed up in Season 2. I have not tested them yet. I don't know if they're going to be strong enough for the end game. I don't think they are because I don't think they have museum buffs yet. So they might go in niche role, but ranking them, I mean, we could talk about it there, but I don't know that we need to go further than that for now. I think this is where we're at for the way the meta looks. You have QSH, who's a meta breaker. You invest in whoever you're going to pair with him. Now's the time, because he just came out. Even if you're a single Archer March player, you got to put him with somebody. So you have your two choices for who that's going to be, and you're going to run with that. And if you obviously run two Archer Marches, like, okay, but only optimize around QSH, because I think everything else has the potential to now be at this power level. If that is the case, then anything else that has been released up to this point is obsoleted. It's just a matter of how quickly it happens. Because the more commanders that come out at the new power level, the worse and worse and worse these reports are going to get for everything else that's not at that power level. So if we continue to get meta breakers, which we might, which I think players generally kind of actually like. I had one guy who completely crashed out on me. I mean, massive crash out. What was this guy crashing out about? He was furious that I was calling out QSH as being kind of in a kind of absurd jump in power level. And he was kind of like, how dare you? Us F2P need a way to play the game too. And I was like, that's very interesting, right? Like a lower spender or free-to-play player that isn't running as many marches, this is their dream. This meta is the dream of a free-to-play low spend who, if they play, they want to run 12 plus hours a day. They're not doing it with 5 marches in the open field. They do it with just 1, right? They lock in with QSH. They invest everything into 1 set instead of many. Okay. This means they can focus their crystal tech on 1 troop type instead of many. Like, this meta is unironically the free-to-play player's dream, because unlike any other time in the history of the game, you actually could do one thing. And if you played all KVK long, okay, and all you did was send QSH over and over and over, sure, not having 5 marches is not as much momentum, and momentum matters, okay? But if you're trying to enjoy the game and play a lot and feel good, I mean, QSH has got to be it, right? So I'm not saying this guy's crash out was valid. It wasn't. They ultimately had to get banned from my Discord. It is what it is. Like, if you act like a jackass, you're gone. But the point that I'm trying to make is like, I actually understand what they were trying to say, which is that actually for free to play, this might be the best the meta has ever been. You'll have to let me know your thoughts in the comments. But you can actually run a smaller number of marches for longer if you want to play more. And you're going to run out of resources and you're going to run out of speed ups and just get disproportionate results. GG, y'all. Actually crazy. Actually crazy. Okay, on the topic of things that are crazy, shout out again to the sponsors Dragonheir Silent Gods, who have the craziest return to the game promotion I think I've ever seen, where they reward you for things that you've got in other games where you could have been collecting stuff. Actually, kind of crazy. If you want to check the link in the description, you can go participate in those very generous offers to go and download the game and play. I'm also going to put cards in the end screen where I've done dedicated videos about Dragonheir Silent Gods. I played this game for months. I enjoyed this game for a while. And they sponsored a bunch of content on the channel. So if you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to play a game, like I'm going to need to go find guides, whatever. Like I got guides for you. You want to see what the gameplay's like? Cards here and here. Use the link in the description to download. Thank you again to them for sponsoring this vid. Until next time, you have fun smashing your enemies. Take care, everybody.